SP500. We'll be looking at Amazon. We'll be looking at Goldman Sachs as well. So we've got a bit of variety there from the tech sector and the banking sector with the S&P. So with the weekly chart here, we've been looking at wave 3 to wave 4 here, and we've got ourselves a reasonable sort of pattern now where we've got the A wave in place, the B wave in place, and we're looking at the C wave here, which will be 5 waves here. The other point I need to make here is that this is the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here. Of course, we always need to tie that in with the closest largest number, and that's the 2500 area here, but it certainly can come down further. The question is, how's it going to do that, and so on, and what about if we do have a low in, where can we start to go long here, and so on. So on the daily chart here, let's just point out for the moment that, well, in terms of the trading levels, the 2,500 is a medium level, and then we've got 3,000 up here, which is a major trading level. In between that, between these two levels here, we have a minor level, which is 2,800, minor trading level 8. And I always find that between the 800 and the 500 here, between 5 and 8, basically those numbers, is we come up with the 2650 area here. And as I always mention, that the 700 is important and the 600 is important, but I always find that the balance point between those, what we can use for support and resistance to get direction, is the halfway mark, the 2650 here, or the 65 number as I call it. So if we were going to go long, then this bar here, this one that's moved down overnight, if that's breached up here, then we need to be on the long side of the market because we'll be above the 2650 area here. But as you can see, we don't have, it's been the resistance, so we don't have support on that. It still may do that, and if it does do that, then we need to be long in a robo sort of trade, which will be, this will be a switch setup here, wouldn't it? Because we've moved up from the low, we've had 2 bars to the downside, so we'll take the top side here. So that would be a daily switch trade, which would be a nice trade if it panned out. So that's what we're going to do on the long side. On the short side here, I can see a couple of ways that this could pan out through here. So I want to talk about these today. So if we move in, first of all, to the 4-hour chart, there is this chart here that we've had on our website here, and from wave B here to down for wave C here, it can be counted like this in terms of down for wave 1, an A wave, a B wave in 3, and then the C wave coming back up here to the wave A here that we were looking for a high into place here. So that's quite possible in this scenario. And don't forget that if I can just draw that in above that bar here, a little trigger to go long here. The interesting thing here that I can point out is that the move down here can't be confirmed just yet because we don't have 5 waves moving down. From the top here, we only have 1, 2, 3 here. So that 3rd wave may not be finished, but it may turn into 5 waves, and that's what we would need to see here. We would need to see wave 4 and wave 5 here moving down as such. Then we'd see an A and a B and a C move back up, and then a move down here again. Okay, but realistically, we've only got 3 waves down, so it makes it corrective. So it could push up from this point. Okay, we can't confirm it because we don't have 5 waves down here just yet. And if we were going to have 5 waves down, then the ABC rally here, we can just draw a line under that and look to be on the short side at that point. And I'll just draw that in, but we'll be able to get a better entry than that. But it just on the broad brush strokes, it does give us something to work with at that point. Okay. There's different ways to count this B wave down here, because on the NASDAQ, for instance, we've got this down as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we do make a new low here below that one there. So it's quite possible to count this down as the 5th wave here. So yeah, there's a little bit more to that. So I'm not sure what charts I've updated. So okay, this is one here. So this is a bit like the NASDAQ picture in a way. So we could look at this as down for 1 and 2, nice strong third wave here, an ABC for the fourth wave here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 down here, and 4 here and 5 here, because this does count down as 5 waves in this little structure here. So I don't see there's much wrong with that. I mean, I can see that there's a problem with it. I could also see that in here that we could also count this as 1 and 2 and 3 here and 4 here and 5 here, and still have our B wave here. So this can be a B wave here, and then we can have an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave here, like I've drawn here before. So this would obviously come down. Let me just clean this up here a little bit. We're just sort of shooting the breeze here, not trying to make things complicated. I'm just trying to sort of point out various scenarios here. So in this case here, if yes, I need to adjust this count, but I won't go into that because I don't want to confuse it too much. But basically, we can look at this as an A wave, a B wave. I think there's a little bit more low to come in here, and then a C wave here, and then down from here. So that's also possible as well. But as I mentioned, we don't need to look at being long just yet until we get this scenario here. But what I want to see is I want to see if this distance down here gives us 5 waves or 3 waves coming down into this space here, because at the moment it can be counted just like I had on the 2-hour chart, with wave 4 already in place here, and 5 waves up for wave 1, an A and a B and a C for wave 2. I think that there's one more little move down for that, and we'll have a look at that in a moment. But once again, we had the entry up here, then we've had the entry here, and I can bring the entry down here a little bit here further as well. Now, also when we first arrived down here at the 2600 mark in this case, we looked at I mentioned to you that we're going to be going through a series of fourth waves here, and it's going to be rather complicated, and they're not going to be a trading sort of environment. I mean, if you're scalping in and out during the day, then it doesn't really matter as such. But if you're holding for the trend, our logic was that would take a percentage here, then sell back into the market here, take profit here, sell at this point here again, and so on. So we still haven't really resolved, we don't have enough evidence to sort of resolve this. The other story for this here is that wave 4 can be sitting over here, but what I want to wait for is I wanted to see if we get this 5-wave structure to the downside here. Let's just have a look at the tick chart. So on the tick chart so far, let's just bring in the hourly chart here. So it's quite possible if we take this as a low here, we can look at this as the A wave here, and then down for a B wave here, which I don't think is finished, and then a C wave back up here. So we need to be really careful here. So what I can see so far in this little move coming down here is that we can look at this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, okay? And then that would make that B wave here. But this C wave and B wave and the third wave here as well, they're not completed yet, because I can see from here, from wave 2 here, we've got 5 waves here, an A and a B and a C for wave 2, and then we've got wave 1 and 2 and down for 3 and 4, and then the whole other 5th wave here for the third wave. 4th wave pulling back to the 38.2% retracement level, or the wave 4 of 1 less degree. So we should come down here at that point, but that still doesn't give us where we need to get, because to confirm the bearish move down here, we still need wave 5 of 3 completed, and at this point here it could also be C of B, and if that's the case, then the market can just come down here, and if it is a C of B, then it will just continue to move up from that point. Okay, at the same time, when the market comes down here to wave 5 of 3 or C, it's going to move up in both cases, but in one case it could just be the wave 4 that it comes back to the wave 4 of 1 less degree again here, and then moves down for the fifth wave. So when it moves down for this fifth wave here, then we know that we're in a bearish position at that point. Then we know we have 5 waves down, because after we get these 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, then that would I can draw on this side of the price. So we'll have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Once we get that down to this point, then we know that we're going to get a rally of an ABC, pulling back probably from into this space here again, the 2620 area here roughly, and then down again from that point. So that can become our short trade. So we've got to get, I can't draw here, but down, up, and then if we get this down move here, then we know that we're going to be in a bearish market from that point, because we'll have 5 waves down at that point. Okay, so we can turn bearish at that point. Also, I want to have a look at Goldman Sachs just while we're here. So with Goldman Sachs here, we've got this, I mean, you've got to follow the money basically, you know. So this situation here, we've got, I mean, this is a pretty common sort of correction within the US market. So we had this February low in here, and for this market here we had 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the A wave here, then an A wave and a B wave and a C wave here for the B wave, and then we're looking at a C wave coming down here. Now I know that all the indicators would be sort of presenting a buying situation here, but I don't think it's the case. But you know, the situation again is that above this high here, and this will be, the other banks won't be far away either from all of this, so it's always good to keep an eye on the banks in each exchange. So, you know, if that's breached to the upside here, then we can go long here. So once again here, we've got basically a switch set up here. But otherwise, if the 250 here becomes the retested resistance, which is a medium level, then we need to come down here further. Now, I think that this here is basically wave 1 coming in here and wave 2 here, and then a nice wave 3 coming into this strong move down here. So I think this is the wave 4 here, and then we have a wave 5 to finish this off down here. That's what I think. So let's just go into the tick chart and have a look at this scenario here. So I'll just bring this into, so that's the whole situation here. We open this up here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the A wave, and then an A wave and a B wave and a C wave for the B wave here. And then our job really is to count the 5 waves down here. So if I could put that up there in the B wave, we can see we've got a nice move down as wave 1 within 5 waves, wave 2 here. And then this one here is too short, so we can't call that the 3rd wave. So it has to be wave 1 of the next degree. So wave 1, wave 2. And then nice strong wave down here of the 3rd of the 3rd down here, and then the 4th wave pulling back to the 40% of the wave 3 here, so that's good. We've got 5 waves in this little structure here, so this would make the 3rd wave, so from wave 2 all the way down to wave 3. That makes sense to me. And then we've got this pattern through here, which is a bit choppy and messy, so a bit overlapping wave structures from the lows and the highs, so being corrective. So an A wave, and then this is in 5 waves down here. So I can look at this as an A wave, a B wave in 3, and then a C wave down here. So I think that this is the B wave, and then we've got 5 waves up here. So, you know, maybe it's possible that this wave 3 is over here as well in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. I can see that happening sometimes when you're working with large numbers. The wave count tends to get skewed because the orders, the minds of traders don't want to leave that larger number. They're still using it. Yeah, so if that's the case, then we need to be looking at further downside. You know, we want to be taken out. Well, that's the wave 3 low, so we need to be taken out this scenario down through here. So yeah, so it's just this leg down here is not finished, and I also need to now have a look at Amazon as well, because it's obviously one of the elephants in the room with the NASDAQ. So it's nice to have a look at the drivers as such. So in this case here, I think it's the same as well. So from the B wave top here, we've got wave 1 and wave 2 here, then 1 and 2, and no mistaking this third wave because it's really strong here. And we could put the third wave over here as well, but it still leaves us the fourth wave here, whichever way you want to look at that. And then this move, if the extension's in wave 3, then wave 1 and wave 5 will be roughly the same here. So once again, it does get quite messy at this low here, but it does count quite nicely as a messy A wave here, a complex, simple, and then complex or more simple. So the guideline of alternation, but we've definitely got 3 waves down here at this point. So an A and a B and a C pulling back up to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. So I think this should have further to go down as well. So it should make a new low below here. Unless I've made a mistake anywhere. The mistake that I could have made here is that this wave 4 here is actually over here, and then this is the wave 5 sitting here, but it doesn't finish in 5 waves, so I don't think it's the case. You know, because if this is the low here, on this low here, then we have 5 waves up here, then we have an A and a B and a C wave here, and I can see that we still have more to go here. So as an A wave and a B wave, we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in here and 5. So we still got, this still needs to be finished here. But if I've made a mistake here, okay, say this is the low here of the 5th wave here, and this is wave 1 here, then an A, B, C for 2, then we need to be long above these highs here, okay? Don't need to, it's not stuck on copy mode. So yeah, above this little high here, that would pretty much, well, support on top of 1430 here, because that's group 1 of 1400 here, so 10, 20 and 30. So a nice tested support on top of 30 is your catalyst and trigger for moving up higher at that point. Of course, you can still go in on the 20 as well, but the lower you go, the higher the risk, but higher the reward as well. So I don't think this leg here is finished. So down for 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're still going to make a new low. So it's going to be sort of interesting. So what we could do here is that we're coming down to the large number, we're going to get a bounce, which we're getting, and then if it pushes through here, then it's going to come back up here, then you've got your trigger at that point. So if it fails the retest here, then it's been rejected, and then the pressure is to the downside at that point. So that's what you could do there. But in that as well, it's still going to vibrate around here for a while, because we'll need to look at this as wave 1 and wave 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 down to here. Then they'll come back and retest it again for another 4, and then down for 5 as well here. So it's yeah. But the bottom thing is being on the right side of the number here. So waiting for support in this case, or resistance in this case here. So yeah, these are the things that we can look at for these markets. All right, I'll leave it at that. Cheers.